Hey crafters, Big D here, and this week we're doing part 4 of our Imperial Fortress build. And this week we're going to take that white towery thing we made and turn it into this gorgeous structure. So let's get moving and hit the table. All right, crafters. So we've got our piece constructed, and now I'm going to talk about detailing. Well, let's get the simple ones out. If you're using the same granny grading you used to make the 12 by 12 squares for the battlements, you're going to use the same granny grading, and you're going to need to make 4 for each tower, and in this case you're going to make them 15 by 15. So if you're using the same 12 by 12, you get 15 by 15s out of them, you get the same size. Otherwise, you want to measure 2.5 inch squares and then remove 1 row. So you got squares that are just under 2.5 inch squares. So you take these, prime them black, set them aside. Now we're going to talk about detailing. You basically got on each face of your tower, you have a spot 3 inches by 5 inches you want to work in. It's a little less in either direction, but you want to kind of center it and have a little bit of a gap. I found it easy to just draw on a piece of cardstock, or what I'm going to be working on, a square that I can fit whatever it is I'm going to draw or cut out into, so I make sure I don't go over that size. Now you'll notice I have a canted rectangle here. This is 3 inches this way, and this is 5 inches down. I wanted to do a wing motif, and I wanted to use the same angle, so I found this to be the easiest way to do it. So this is what I'm going to work from. This is all just a matter of to taste. So in this case, I'm just going to kind of freehand this. So we're going to cut out here, and the reason we have this is we are going to slice this into tines. So we've got a basic shape, which is good. We cut out the basic outside shape, we duplicate it so we have 2 of them, and then we go forward. So let me get a pair of shoes, and we'll get this cut out, and we'll come back. Okay, crafters, so we got them cut out, and we got the wing pieces separated, and just to get a fitting here, we're going to take one of these, just to get an idea. You've got your piece here, and as you can see, that wing is going to fit right in there. So this will be great. So now it's just a matter of, you're going to trim these into tines. So again, this is by taste. I would suggest you cut in half and then cut in half twice more. But then after you do it, you want to trim just a little bit off each edge, just a little bit off the bottom and a little bit off from where you're cutting the in-betweens, just so there's some space, and a little off the top, just so there's a little space between the tines. And again, this is a to-taste thing. This is a how you want to make it look. If you want to have more tines, if you don't want to have any tines and just want to have a kind of that deco like wing like suggested shape in there, you could do that too. So we're going to cut these up, and then we're going to take some hot glue and we're going to glue them on, and then we're going to get to putting on our rivets on these upright bars, and a couple of rivets that we're going to put on here. So let me cut these up. Again, I'm going to cut mine. So I'm going to cut mine in half, and then cut them in half again, and I'm going to trim a little off every edge so that they fit in here with having some space. So I'm going to cut mine up, get them mounted on, and we'll be right back. Just in case it was unclear or I wasn't sure what I meant by cutting little strips out, you're just cutting some edges. These are the same pieces. I'm just taking a little bit of a wedge, just a little tiny strip out from each one, just to make sure we get a nice space between them all, so we're going to have some nice relief in there. So we're going to take these, we're going to get them glued up, and then we're going to put our last piece of detail on them. You'll see that in just a moment. So after getting these really nice looking wings in place, and the clean lines that they put in place, I mean, just that front profile really looks sharp. So I realized that if it's Imperial, it's got to have skulls. But the problem is, I wanted to try and put a skull right here, and it just doesn't fit after trying to fit it up there. So we're going to put some skulls at the top of each of the columns. Now what I did is I went to the Halloween store, and they have these little packages of favors. And one of the things that comes in there is these really nice skull rigs. They're cheap, they're cruddy. You don't really want your kids playing with them because, gosh, they're just, you know, they're going to fall off, and they're rough plastic and they're icky. But for what we're doing, they're perfect. All you got to do is you got to take your skull, take a pair of nubs, you cut the ring off, and look, you've got a nice detailed plastic skull. And then it's just a matter of putting a blob of glue right at the top of your pillar. And putting your skull into it. And go ahead and get your skulls on each of your towers, on each of your uprights there, and then we're going to come back and we're going to do rivets. This is really going to look sharp. I really like how this skull came out. I was not expecting to like it as much as I do. So let's go do that. We'll come right back. Okay, so we've got our piece here, and we're going to start adding some rivets. Now, I've got two different sizes. I've got some larger ones and some smaller ones. This was not on purpose. I had intended them to be the same size, but apparently I made a mistake. So if you end up with two different sizes, we'll talk about that. Otherwise, you're just worrying about a smaller size rivet. The nice thing about it is that these have a glue or stickiness to the back of them. And we're going to put some on the wings as well. We also want to take these larger size, since we've got larger size, and we're going to put them in pairs. Now, once you've got them in place, they're going to stick, but that glue is not permanent. So you're just going to take a small drop of Superglue and just kind of drop it right above it and let that glue run down. And what that'll do is that'll adhere the piece, the rivet, to your piece. And then once you prime over the top, they'll be on permanently. So you're going to want to add the 6 rivets to each of the uprights, and you're going to want to add these rivets to your wing pieces. Go through, get all your rivets in place, glue them up, and then go ahead and black bomb your piece, and we'll come back for painting. And here, I was about to black bomb and give you guys bad instructions. I did forget there's one step. Got all our rivets in place and glued, but now we need to take a fine layer of glue and lay a fine layer of sand on this inside corner here to make it look like the textured concrete for walking on. So do that, let it dry, and then black bomb your project. Don't forget, like I almost did. Alright, so we've got our things detailed. Everything's on there nice and well. And just like last time after we black bombed it, we took some gray spray paint and at a 45-degree angle, we just kind of dusted everything so that it's got a little bit of a gray effect on it. Then, just like before, we're taking a brush, and we got our pavement gray-black, and we're going to attack this at a 45-degree angle, and we're just kind of doing swipes. Got some nice streaking on there now. You can use the same brush. You're not going to go dry. You're just going to go to that pewter gray, that medium darker gray. Let's put it right in the same palette. And again, you're just going the same route. You're going to use a little less this time. But you're doing the exact same thing. You're just creating streaking. There we go. Got our nice grays in there. Let this get a little firmer. You don't need to let it get fully dry. You just want to let it get a little firmer. And then we're going to break up that gunmetal dark silver we're using. And again, we're going to do the same thing, but we're going in the opposite direction. All right, so we let the silver, we let the gray dry maybe 5 minutes of that. Just give enough time to let everything kind of settle up, just let's stick it in hand. And then again, we're just taking the silver and we're going in the opposite direction as our other streaking. All right, we got two towers. We got them in our gray, we got them in our silver. They're looking really good. We're gonna let this dry. And the last thing we're gonna do is we're gonna come back with a little bit of dark, bronzy, coppery paint. So let this dry and come back with a bronze or a dark copper or a burnished gold, something brighter with a yellowish, brownish tone to it. But something you're going to like to go with your setup. So we're going to go with that, and we'll be right back. All right, so our grays and our silvers are nice and dried. We got some nice interest going on in these pieces. They're going to look great on the table. But what is the Empire if not ostentatious? So the problem is it's supposed to look a little worn, look a little used. So we don't want to go completely crazy. We just want to put a brushed on the patina. So we're not going to do multiple coats. And we're not going to do a heavy brushing. We're just going to put some on a raggedy brush. Make sure you can see this. And we're just drawing it, so the gray and the silver and the black still shows through, but now we can see that this was golden. You can also do is run it across your stones just like that. And look how that makes them pop. Alright. Now this is a piece of the Empire's defense network. Let's crack on, get everything else done, and we're going to come back and get one last look at these pieces. And so here we see a couple of our generically unpainted but primed Primaris Marines watching over the fortress walls, along with Belisarius Call looking over this great battlement that's been found to be used against the forces of chaos and the Xenos threat. We've got a really great piece here, folks. And we're about halfway through our build. We've got our walls, we've got our corner towers. Next time, we're going to start working on that grand gate. So, looking forward to sharing this with you. I'm glad any of you that have stuck with me through these first four are sticking through me continuously to the end of this project. Thank you all for coming by. Just remember, this is a big D. And this is what it's all about. It's about epicing your game. Epic your board. Thanks. Like, share, and subscribe. Game on.